And we are back with another episode of the Pinnacle Podcast. Today, we have the pleasure of being here with Spurgeon Robinson, the founder of President and Chief Executive Officer at MPACT Strategic Consulting Services, LLC, and MPACT Construction Consulting Services. And we are celebrating 25 years of the Greater Houston Black Chamber putting on the Pinnacle Awards and honoring local entrepreneurs such as yourself, highlighting your businesses. And with this podcast, we just want to share with the community, with the Houston community, a little bit about your story, talk about the upcoming 25th celebration, which is going to be amazing on October 19th. You can get your tickets at ghbcc.com/pinnacle. But right now, we're just really excited to talk to you, Spurgeon, about your business and you know, kind of how you got started.
Yes. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I understand that you're at your daughter's volleyball game.
Yes. Captain Chili. Yeah.
Are you crazy in the stands? Are you calm,
unfortunately, no. I'm that parent everybody look and say, what's wrong with that guy?
They're not going to win unless you're there.
Yeah, it's like, this guy is too much into this. Yes, that's me. Unfortunately.
Perfect.
So talk to us a little bit about what your company does. I know that it's so multifaceted and provides consulting services as well as some serious hands-on.
Yes.
So kind of talk to us about what you do.
Yeah, so we're actually pretty proud of how the company has grown. We've been in business for 7 years, but really had a huge investment, I think, into our firm in the last 5 years, and has really accelerated our growth. We are born out of being an emergency management, disaster recovery firm. So we help cities, federal, and state and local governments recover and plan for natural disasters. So as you can imagine, with the enormous disasters that have happened over the last 2 years in particular, but every year Houston's facing something in particular, we've been able to kind of help them guide or manage that process as well. Another aspect of our work has been a growing area in what we call compliance and monitoring. It's an area where we're helping public and private sector organizations address their MWBE, Minority Women-Owned Business Enterprise Growth, strategies for labor compliance, whether it's prevailing wage and Davis-Bacon. We're one of the best entities in the country that can help also with construction-related labor compliance. And also thinking of strategies in which we help people build capacity within the minority community. So it's very important that we tell our clients is that we're not trying to count numbers and give you reports and see how you're doing towards a certain goal.
Right.
We're trying to figure out how you develop long-term relationships and value.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that's growing. And then there's transportation, what we call transportation mobility sector. And it's it's a growing space for us, something we dived into, but I think it helps us with some of the unique clients we've had lately, including like the Texas Bullet Train, Tampa Airport, and other places to kind of pull into that spectrum where we understand around aviation, but also in transportation mobility. And then last but not least, as you say, multifaceted, like we got these huge organizations. Usually it's actually...
I wasn't going to try and go through
it.
Yeah,
right. But the quick one is the construction services too.
Yeah.
So we are also a federal 8A firm, which is a special designation we have.
Sure.
And with the recovery efforts that we have, and you'll see most of our other industries or other service lines have spawned from emergency management, disaster recovery. Same thing with construction services. We're helping U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and others that actually help build levees and dams and other ways to mitigate flooding.
Right.
We actually help them. So that's what that's really born out of. So that's what all this tied together.
We did an episode previously with Stephen Carter.
Yes.
And one of
the
things,
Stephen Carter.
the great Stephen Carter. One of the things that he talked about that I thought was interesting was that, you know, sometimes the best business ideas aren't the sexiest, right? Like, so, you know, if somebody listening to this podcast is thinking, oh, wow, strategic consulting services about disaster relief and all this, like, that wasn't what I was thinking I was going to do. I was thinking about opening a restaurant, a hot dog stand. I don't know, you know, something else that seems a bit more tangible. So talk to us a bit. I know you mentioned that you uniquely you got into this business because of an opportunity that came your way to sort of manage a disaster relief scenario.
Right.
But then in that role, did you find yourself thinking like, there's a niche here where I can make money and turn this into something? Is that how that came about?
I think the first aspect was, here was a problem I could solve. This is something very unique, and if you put the right group of people and lead them in the right direction, it would turn into a benefit fund. So it's more of a public service mission. Okay. And of course, you started making money off of it, not off of it necessarily, but it just comes with your growth, right? So I think strategically, where I looked at is like, how can I consult and bring a team together that can add value to our clients? And that sense of that point was like, how do we help house these individuals? This is post-Katrina first. How do we help house them, make sure it's efficient, make sure it's done right in the right way. And the federal government is going to reimburse us for work we do. So that's a great part of it. So that's how you look at it. But I think you find whatever you're passionate about, and I'm not as strengthened about which industry is in. It's really about we're problem solvers. I think consulting, in a general sense, there are people who specialize. But at the end of the day, we're all trying to solve a client's problem,
Right.
whether
Yeah.
it's IT, transportation, or government and public sector as well.
Yeah.
When you were speaking earlier, you said that there had been some investment that had come in that had really kind of helped push your business. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that investment looks like and how you secured it?
Yeah, it was my personal savings.
Happens like that.
It happens like
No,
that. That's
we know
real.
the story.
Yeah.
Right, correct. So the reality of it is that, you start with an idea and you have to convince the client to invest in you.
Right.
Say, hey, trust me that we're going to deliver. And that was really a key point, especially in 2014 after Sandy hit New York.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine New Yorkers. Who is these Texas guys?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And we had to really invest our time into giving them the confidence that we can actually deliver. And that's really where that investment comes in.
How did you build that confidence?
Being able to be resourceful and
Okay.
responsive, that's
Okay.
really key.
Yeah.
Keep communication channel, and then being right. I tell
Yeah.
people it's important to be right.
Mhm.
If you're going to stick your neck out there, just kind of know what you're doing and what you're saying, because
Right.
people
Yeah.
can quickly see through the bluff.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we try to do. And I think that's really key. But I think being responsive to your clients is so important. And that's just, anyway, not just your clients, people you deal with, your team members, the people that we actually employ as well.
Yeah.
Being responsive, we try to put that as part of our culture. So that helps out.
As a native Houstonian, you went to Booker T. You
Booker
studied.
T,
You did
War
engineering
Eagle.
there.
Yes.
Moving on, you went to Brown University.
Yes.
I mean,
Amazing.
amazing. From Brown, you went to Kellogg. From
Yes.
Kellogg, you did a series of long-term corporate jobs.
Correct.
Now, how do you make the transition from corporate into owning your own business?
So in corporate, you're almost thinking of yourself as a mini business anyway, right? You're navigating
Yeah.
through consulting, and you're starting to build your brand internally, right? People, at the end of the day, you're still building your brand no matter
Right.
who you
That's
are.
very true.
So when you're there, you're working and consulting, you're learning a lot. And that's the other thing I appreciate is that don't be afraid of people who drive you hard or give you the tough assignments, because it's really building that character. And when you deliver, you're not only proud of yourself,
That's right.
you've actually added a tool to your toolbox. And
Yeah.
I think that's so important. So when I'm in corporate America and those entities we're working for, I'm learning a lot, being pushed, and then I'm growing, I'm building my brand. So at the end of the day, either clients are asking for me or the partners that we're working with at the time, I'm working with Deloitte, et cetera, they were asking for us. And then when I went to MPACT, same thing, we would do work for the executive team. We actually were a strategy group, small strategy for the executive team. So we were seeing the most highest priority things.
Yeah.
So they would depend on you. They knew you by name. So once again, you build that brand. I think that from there you transition into, hey, is this something that I feel like I'm confident enough to go out on my own? Entrepreneurs are risk takers at the end of the day. Nothing wrong with a corporate job. Love all my corporate fellows. Need them there. Help us out with business.
Sure.
But also there are a certain entity of people who, or certain characters, certain people that really want to be risk takers, and they just kind of take that leap of faith as well. So that's really what I think sometimes distinguishes the ones that are successful and how you build that brand.
So as a past Pinnacle awardee, you know, you're at the pinnacle of your career, right?
Keep going.
Right. There's really no true entrepreneurs. There's never really a pinnacle, right?
Right.
But, you know, I want to know, and I bet young entrepreneurs out there want to know, like, when are you having fun yet? Like, is it exciting? Are you waking up every day? Because, you know, the beginnings of an entrepreneur, we all know is really not sexy.
Right.
I think no matter what your Instagram profile looks like, there's a lot of hard work that goes into that. But is there a point when you start coasting and you're like, you know, it's kind of fun?
I don't think you ever
Coast, right?
Okay, coast is a hot bunch. I shouldn't use that word.
Yeah.
But are you having fun with it now?
Yes.
It would have been great if you'd been like, yes, I'm coasting.
And we'd be like, this interview's going to continue with a part 2 and a part 3 and a part 4 so we can learn.
No, after the interview, he'd have been doing cleanup like my clients can't hear that.
No, I'm working right now today.
Yeah.
It becomes fun because I think you have to be able to, you're going to find, every entrepreneur will tell you this as well. You're working 14, 16, 18-hour days, and you got to be able to have that love and that passion to want to wake up sometimes at 4 a.m. and complete that deliverable before 8 a.m. that you know you got to get over the line. Or, like I said, we talk about kids, you know, got to make it back to my daughter's volleyball games, et cetera. And then once they put on the bed, go back to work. Right?
Yeah.
And we do that. And so it's a lot placed in there. And then I think that, you know, I think you enjoy it. Once you find something you're really passionate about and you understand you're building your brand, you can't chase the dollars. I tell people the dollars will come.
Yeah.
What happens is once you're actually very successful and people trust you, they'll send you more business than you actually have to go and market more business. So that's how you grow.
So tell us how you found out that you were a Pinnacle nominee.
So I have to give a lot of credit to my team, Angelique Bartholomew. She was saying, hey, Spurgeon, this is something we should really do. And so we also need to realized we didn't want to invest back in our community.
Yeah.
So being part of the Great Eastern Black Chamber is also important. And the
Yes.
Pinnacle Award is just something that we were surprised that we were recognized for, because we just try to do our thing. And
Yeah.
as you know, I try to stay behind the scenes, but I have a great team that actually said this is something I think there'll be great recognition for, and we have a good story to tell.
Yeah.
So it's more than just winning awards. It's about who our story is to tell. So we think we are unique in the sense what we do,
Yeah.
but there's so much opportunity for others like us in this business.
What advice, as we wrap up here, what advice would you give to the young entrepreneur that's out there, specifically that's in a corporate job? Because I don't know if you knew then in your corporate career that, hey, I'm developing transferable skills I can use one day. Or maybe you weren't. You're like, I don't know what I'll do with any of this. And then the sort of perfect storm happened. But what sort of advice would you give to them now as they're trying to figure out, where would I even go from here?
Right. So the best thing, like I said, one, realize you're building your brand. The second thing is seeing if you can replicate what you like to do while you're still working at corporate America job.
Okay.
In other words, everybody talks about side hustle, but when you're able to have a team and say, hey, I need some help with something, maybe in marketing, et cetera, you got a time problem in your to say, hey, let me work on this on the side. Once you still build a presence, you really like what you're doing,
Yeah.
you develop a client, and
Yeah.
then you just build upon that.
Yeah.
And then after a while, you get to a point where you say, we can do this, I can do this, I'm comfortable in doing this on my own.
Yeah, no, but we look forward to seeing you on the 19th coming out to
Great.
celebrate
Yes,
the
yes.
25th year.
Yeah.
And again, please get your tickets at ghbcc.com/pinnacle.
And we have our table.
Fantastic. There you go.
Yeah, so,
Fantastic.
we couldn't go with
It was
That's right.
cheap, I'm sure.
I think it's important. It's part of give back. I think it's important.
Yes,
Yeah, so
absolutely.
it's great
Thank you
stuff.
for taking the time.
Oh, thank
today.
you all.
Thank you so much.
I do
Yep.
appreciate it. Thank you.